Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Salt Lake Aliamanu Foster Village Airport Neighborhood Board 18. Today is July 11th. The time is 6:30 p.m. Let's start with a roll call of the board members. Secretary Connie Morrow, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Starting with Larry Baird.
Here.
James Gower is absent today. Lorene Godfrey. Right here. Okay. Nicole Hine.
Hello, here.
Joseph Amura.
Here.
Patty Igawa.
Here.
David Yomes. And myself, Chandra Kanemaru, here. So we do have a quorum.
Okay. Let's start off with the Honolulu Fire Department.
Good evening. I am 541 Raven Mortensen Young. We are Engine 30 Moanalua Station, 3rd Platoon. And I'm just going to go ahead and share some statistics regarding incidents in the NHB, our geographical area, for the previous month. So, incident statistics for June 2024. Fires, we had 0 structure fires, 0 wildland brush fires, 1 nuisance, 0 cooking fires, 3 activated alarms, no fires. Emergencies, we had 59 medical emergencies, 0 motor vehicle collisions with pedestrian, 1 motor vehicle crash collision, 0 mountain rescues, 0 ocean rescues, and 0 hazardous material incidents. We also want to share some fire safety tips and announcements. The fire safety tip for the month of June is heat safety. Hawaii has some of the highest average annual relative humidity in the country. When it is too humid, our bodies have a hard time cooling down, which can lead to heat-related illness. In the past decade in Hawaii, the average number of hot and humid days and very warm nights have more than doubled due to climate change and are expected to increase. Visit www.resilientoahu.org/subscribe to sign up for updates on heat in Hawaii this summer. Make sure you're prepared for the heat. Some tips include keeping cool with fans or AC spaces and in shade, wear lightweight, loose-fitting clothing, drinking plenty of water, stay out of the sun, wear a hat outdoors or take an umbrella, check on neighbors who are at high risk of heat-related illness. If you would like to find more resources about heat-related illness, extreme heat, and how to prepare, please go to www.heat.gov. Does anybody have any questions?
Board, any questions for the fire department? Go ahead.
Aloha. I have a question. So we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the Maui wildfires. And I happen to work and I go back and forth between Oahu and Maui every week. One of the questions I had was our area, like that's under your guys' watch. You guys are at Maunalua. Are you guys at the
Yes.
Maunalua? How is our area doing as far as private or state or county lands that are at risk for brush fire in our communities?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to go ahead and note it. I want to make sure to get you all the information and all the facts, and then we can go ahead and address it at next month's board meeting. Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Moore.
And also, did you mention that there was a auto pedestrian hit?
Yes, so I did not a hit, but there was a motor vehicle crash or collision. We had 1 motor vehicle collision.
Do you know where that was at? If not, can you find out and report it?
Yeah,
at
I'll
the
go
next
ahead.
meeting?
I'll go ahead and also
Okay.
get some information on that as well.
Yeah, because I'm kind of like trying to keep track of well, there's just one specific area. I just want to make sure that it's not in that area. That's why. Thanks.
Thank you.
Audience, any questions for the Honolulu Fire Department? Oh, Mr. Baird, sorry.
On your report, you might note when they do have a car accident that you should bring specifics with you, because we're going to ask you that, and it's always going to be the next month. So if there is a car accident in our area, tell them to put the specifics on there so you can bring it at the time you're reporting it, like tonight.
Yes, sir.
That should be every time. Thank you.
Audience?
Yes.
So when you report the motor vehicle collisions. How is that different from? Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Sandra. Yeah, I don't live in the neighborhood, but my mother does. And I'm asking about the motor vehicle collisions because she was hit last month. So I was just wondering if that coincides, if it's aligned with what the police department reports, or if it's not exactly the same thing.
Where was your mother hit? What area?
Nimitz, coming from Camp Caitlin towards the Plaza Hotel.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm not totally sure on the police side of their reports, but we do have our own reports, and we can go ahead and get you some information at next month's board meeting as well.
Thank you, appreciate it. Honolulu Police Department, Pro City Station, Foster Village area. Anybody here? Khalid District, Lieutenant, you're up. Hey, Lieutenant, before you give your presentation, Sandra wanted to know, well, I wanted to know as well, on Nimitz Highway at Camp Catlin, are the cameras working by the state? Do you know offhand? I know it's a fetch. Do they?
Nimitz and Camp Catlin?
Yeah, because her mother got struck in that same crosswalk where we had a fatality some years ago too, right at that crosswalk. But I was wondering if because the person fled and there's no license plate, no description of the driver. So I was wondering if the cameras were in operation, but we'll check with the state and city.
Okay, sir. Hello, everyone. My name is Lieutenant Creighton Atico. I'm the nighttime commander at the Kalihi Police Station. Let me give you some statistics for the month of June. It was a little down for your guys' area. It encompasses 2 beats for us, beat 550 and 551, which is basically Salt Lake. There were 0 aggravated assaults. There was 1 auto theft, 1 burglary reported, and then just 5 simple thefts reported. Total calls for service were 530, which includes all the miscellaneous calls as well. It might interest you to know that the burglary occurred at the gym where you guys normally have your meeting. Somebody cut through the steel grating on one of the doors, apparently to try to get to the soda machine. But they tried to meddle with the soda machine, but they couldn't get into it. And then by that time, somebody was on site and they called the police then. Yeah, but no one was caught, and as of this time, we don't have any suspects. For a tip on a month, we've been, especially for people that commute via public transportation, there's been a rash of thefts from person, such as purse snatchings, backpacks stripped off the backs of people. If you utilize, especially our bus system, and you go through that corridor that goes into Chinatown, that area there, I would suggest for women to have a crossbody bag that you wear on the front of you. It's usually a case when the person is hanging on the side, the criminal will come from the back, snatch it off of them, and run past and continue on their way. So if you can have a crossbody bag that you hold in front of you at all times, it makes you a smaller target. And the way it works for criminals is they'll always choose the easiest one. Yeah. So for males too, we've had a rash of older gentlemen coming home from work late at night from the bus stops as well. So if you catch the bus and you're coming home, the biggest thing is awareness. Take a look at who's around you. If you ever feel unsafe for whatever reason, you can notify your bus driver, and they'll notify us to come. You can call police directly if you feel like you need an escort or somebody sketchy at the bus stop and you just want them checked out. We do it all the time. It's not a problem. Don't feel like because a crime hasn't occurred that you cannot ask for police help. Yeah, we're there to prevent things as well. I'll open up to any questions from the board.
Board, any questions for the Kalihi Police Station? Ms. Hine?
Aloha. Mahalo. Mahalo for your presence tonight and mahalo for your reporting. You just made me, your energy is making me feel real safe too right now, just throughout the community. But my question is, I know that the police force throughout the state of Hawaii is suffering from low recruitment. Yeah, and it's causing different beats to have shortages, you know, throughout, which makes everything like response times and your ability to kind of service the community in the small ways and the big ways, yeah, that you guys do. Is that a pressing problem for these particular beats too?
Truthfully, we've never been fully staffed my whole career. I'm gonna hit 24 years this year. The way the police department operates, because we have so many specialized units that we have to take care of niche problems in each community, we're never fully staffed. But we always try and make sure that there is adequate coverage. So never feel like it's unsafe, because the way the beats are situated, there's always an officer nearby. So even though if there's an officer particularly assigned to that specific beat, there'll be one right next door. Yeah, so response times are still very quick, you know, as compared to the mainland, the way we handle business. So, but yeah, like you said, the recruiting is really down. And you guys can do us a favor by encouraging those that you feel like would be a good fit. This is not a job for everyone. But if you see someone who you feel like could make a good shot at it, encourage them. At this point, it's a pretty good career. You make good money from the start. For recruits, they make into the above $52,000 to begin with for training. So, and they already get medical coverage and all kinds of things like that. So, part of it is going to be changing public perception of police. Some people, younger people especially, we're in a country where there's not necessarily a call to service anymore. But like a lot of officers who came in, like Lieutenant Iwasaki as well, we wanted to serve our communities where we live. So that's why we chose that way.
Mahalo.
Audience, any questions for the Kalihi District? Mr. Omura?
Yeah, you folks take account of calls, yeah, that come in. I see at the bottom. There were like 500 some odd calls.
Yes.
I've been talking to my neighbors, and I'm going to bring this up later, but there's been two areas in particular that I've had groups of people complain. Basically, the Salt Lake corridor between Alanapunani and Alalilikoi. That stretch where had people coming up to me complaining about at 12, 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, cars are dragging down that road, and even cars that aren't, their engines are so loud, like not street legal kind of thing. They're disrupting the sleep of a lot of neighbors on those. And there are quite a few people, thousands, like tens of thousands that live on that, right on the high rises all over there, and they hear that noise. That's one area. And the second area is between Salt Lake Elementary School, Likini Street, that goes up that hill from there into Aliomanu. I have about 3 or 4 other people that live there, and they're what I call my McDonald's senior gang. We meet there, and they're trying to tell me, they've been complaining for the last like 5 years. Nothing seems to be getting done on that. And so I told them, why don't you call in? Because if you don't call in, it's not going to get recorded, and then it's not a problem. And it's only 1, 2 people calling in all the time. Then it's like you're a troublemaker. So if ever, you got to get your whole neighborhood to call in. Now the point for this is, okay, can you guys make a count of those 2 areas? Because, it's just a particular area because that's where I've been getting the most hits, complaints, or they want me to check those 2 areas consistently.
I'll make note of that, and then I'll make sure that I have my guys do more
if they
enforcement
can,
over
yeah,
there.
if the person taking the calls, like, is there a way where they can find out, like, where are those calls from, basically, and why? Like, is there speeding noises and, car noises, that kind of thing, on those 2 streets only?
Okay. Okay. I'll take a look at that, sir, and I'll let you know.
Any other questions? Thank you, Lieutenant. District 3, Pearl City, Lieutenant Iwasaki.
Hi, sorry for being late. I went to the other location. Thank you, Ms. Valdez, for letting me know the correct address. My first day back from vacation, so. But this is for Beat 384, Pro City. May 2024, we had 4 motor vehicle thefts. June 2024, we had 4. Burglaries, there was 4 last month and 1 June 2024. The thefts went from 13 to 5, and car break-ins 3 to 2. So calls for service in this area was 341 in May of 2024, 272 in June of 2024. The safety tip of the month is phone scams are on the rise. Never provide any personal information, including but not limited to your social security number, date of birth, bank account information, passwords, etc. Never purchase gift cards to send to unknown persons. This is a scam. And also, I know I was going to provide the detailed information on these stats, but the only burglary that we had in this area for June of 2024, it was more of a personal matter, so I choose not to disclose that information. But it was like it was a burglary classification, but more like to do with family.
Lieutenant, was that the one on television that they put out the license plate number of the vehicle in Costa Village?
I'm not sure, but it was 4000 block of Ukali Street. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, I was off island for the last 2 weeks, so I'm not sure if this was on the news, but.
Mr. Baird, you had a question?
Actually, this is for either one of you. When you come down Salt Lake Boulevard and you get to right at the end of the shopping center, you turn right up onto Halava Heights Road, under the freeway for several nights, there has been HPD there doing a sobriety test. They did it, about 5 months ago, and they did it about 2 months ago. And I would like us to get a report on that, to where they checked 600 cars, they found 16 drunk drivers, they made 4 arrests or whatever. I think that's of interest to us, because that can help us let you know where maybe you better go, that might be a better location, or some other location that is just as important. If you can bring that reports to us when they do that, I would appreciate it. And I don't know which one of you, I mean, I know that's your area, but it's also a special duty routine, so I don't know, but I would like to get that. I would like to know that.
Okay, I can get that information for you in the next meeting. Yeah.
Great.
But they've been very successful at that that area, I know. Yeah,
Yes,
pretty much
Taco Bell really appreciates you guys being there.
Yeah, every time they do an operation, I can say there is an arrest made in
Right.
that location. Yeah.
Right, and then we see it on the news, maybe, or as we're getting a report from you, then we can say, hey, look at, this is really working good, or, what if you tried it over here on Salt Lake Boulevard to see if it might even be better?
Yes.
But that's my concern. I would like to see that, to see if we could do something and help you get
Yeah.
more
The
information.
end of July, we also did an operation at that Ice Palace parking lot, because cars were racing. I guess there was a complaint that cars were racing up. Is that Halava Heights Road? Or,
Right, well, it turns into Halava Heights Road.
Yeah. So they were racing from Ice Palace to, that's Kahua Pa'ani, I think, yeah?
Yes,
Yeah, going
Yeah.
up that road, so.
and I can't tell you where it turns from one to the other, so.
Right,
You know,
yeah. But we did an operation as well over there, so.
Right, and you guys also did speed up Salt Lake Boulevard from the freeway up Salt Lake Boulevard towards Radford High School.
Yes,
And
yes.
you guys sat at the traffic light right there, and then
Correct.
radared them. That's good too. But my complaint is about that. It's too early. If you guys came, like they were talking about earlier, about how the speeding is at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, nobody's around. That's when you guys should be around because those kids are out there screaming up and down Salt Lake Boulevard. Both of them are good. Don't get me wrong. I think they're both good, but the late at night is the one that disturbs everybody's sleep.
Okay, yeah,
All right.
we can address that. It's not
Thank
a
you.
problem.
Audience, any questions for the Pro City District? Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Before we move on our agenda, just some housekeeping matters. If you exit this door here, the restrooms are directly across from this door. The air condition, they're going to be putting in a new air condition next month's meeting. It should be nice and cool. But for tonight, a little bit warm. So if you want to cool off, that's air conditioned on that side. So you can have a drink and come back if you want. It's a lounge and cool off and come back. But anyway, let's move on to our meeting of election of officers. We're going to be electing the chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. At this time, we're going to see if anybody on this board wants to be the chair. Raise your hand. Any nominations for chair from this board?
Chair. Can I nominate David Yomes to be the chair of our board?
Second.
Pass, that's it. Okay,
That was
we're
quick.
done.
I say we close now.
Okay, moving on to vice chair. Any nominations from the board? Yeah, I nominate Chandra Kanimaru for vice chair. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Is there an?
Yep,
CA?
second.
Okay, there's a second. Are you accepting that nomination, Mrs. Kanimaru? Okay, she'd rather be secretary. Anybody want to be vice chair on this board? I nominate Ms. Hine. Ms. Hine. Any second?
Third.
There's a third. Thank you, Ms. Hine. You're the vice chair. Okay, the secretary. I nominate Mrs. Kanimaru. I hear a second. Okay, you're nominated and you are the secretary for this term from July 1st to June 30th of 2025. And the treasurer, we should nominate Lorene Godfrey. Any second?
Second.
Okay. You all good, Lorene? Is that good for you? Okay, we got our board. Okay, next on the agenda, the meeting date, time, location, and format. I'm kind of pushing for this be our permanent location from now on. The board, what do you think about that? Okay. And the time, 6:30, is that good with all of you? Okay. And moving on to determination of recess schedule, we can have 3 months per year, but it's been the practice of this board since I came on over 20 years ago. We take 2 months out of the year, so 10 months we're actively at our board meetings. Any suggestions from the board? Yeah, right now we have it, last year was June and December on the breaks. Is that okay, or? I'm sorry. We have an issue on September. September is the only month that this room is already taken. So I don't know if the board wants to take September and another month for this year, and maybe September and December is there breaks for this calendar year. Okay. September, December. A motion to have our meetings for 10 months and taking a break, a recess on September 2024 and December 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Close it.
Okay. Everybody's good with that? Any objections? Okay, 7-0. Okay, adoption of the oral testimony rules, pretty much like the rules that we have it now. So I make a motion to leave the Testimony rules in place. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any objections to keeping it as it is? Okay, we'll leave it as is. Okay, let's move to community events and concerns. This neighborhood board is trying to plan an annual Salt Lake Christmas parade, possibly on December 15th at 5:30 in the afternoon. And we kind of looked at a route that we wanted to get the Navy involved, going through the Navy housing and Salt Lake. So we kind of had how we wanted to see if this was a possibility. We still have to talk to the city council, the mayor's office. We wanted the parade route to go through, starting at Salt Lake Library. The trucks and vehicles and any motorized vehicles would be in that parking lot by the library and Leomano School. Walking units such as bands and stuff would hang out at the church parking lot. So the beginning of the parade will start on Arizona Road, and it'll continue through the military housing. Come out of the military housing by Peltier Avenue and make a left on Peltier. We make immediate right on Salt Lake Boulevard, and an immediate left onto Ala Napunani Street. Immediate left on Ali Lima, and we're going to go straight down Ali Lima Street. That's the most people that we probably would attract on Ali Lima Street, because there's condos on both sides of the streets and a lot of people there. So we're going to take it all the way to Ali Lima Street to the shopping center. We're going to make a right turn on Ala Lilikoi Street and take it all the way to Salt Lake Elementary School, where the parade will end. Trying to work out the logistics, talking with city council. I know Councilmember Cordero had an interest last meeting that she would help us with that. So hopefully we can discuss that if we have to get a nonprofit involved. But I kind of really want to push for this for the Salt Lake community, because we are the only ones that I know of that don't have a parade. And I think the kids of Salt Lake surely deserve one. And I really want to share this parade with the military housing, especially what they went through with Red Hill and all of that. Some of them got affected by their water on that side of Radford housing. So it would be a good thing for not only the community of Salt Lake, but also the military housing, to get them involved as well. I did a couple reports that I'm going to pass on to the council member and the mayor's office to see if how we go through the permitting process and what we need to do, and see if we can get it off the ground before December. I'm also, on the same day, on December 15th, I wanted to start the first annual Christmas Ho Laulea at the Alapu Maulu Community Park. That's the biggest park in Salt Lake, and it's a 3-tier park. If you're familiar with the park, it's 3 tiers of grass and stuff. So that would be the biggest place to have it. And we were talking about having like 100 vendors that's selling products for Christmas, having food vendors, having games, and all kinds of other stuff. But we need to work out the logistics with the city and see if that is possible. And with that, the whole Laulea, we wanted to get the proceeds all going to the city's summer fund program, hopefully at the Salt Lake Elementary School. And I talked to someone at the, not the elementary school, sorry, the Salt Lake District Park. Talked to somebody at the district park about the summer fund program. Their funds are kind of really hard to come by, and I think it's all over the city's summer fund program. But after crunching the numbers and stuff, I think this particular whole Laulea can give the city probably an $8,000 donation every year if we can keep this going for the city summer fund program. But the discussions are still, I need to meet with the city council member, the mayor's office, and the planning division, see how, I'm new to this. Maybe we can get a nonprofit to help that's familiar with the process, so we can get this going. So hopefully we can get this done by the end of the year. Any questions, board?
What's the length of the route? How many miles?
It's 1 mile. Just cutting. It's not that long. Mr. Omura runs that 5 times a day with ease. Audience, you have any questions about our ideas for the Salt Lake community, having a parade and having a whole Olea Christmas time to celebrate anything? You can stand up, please. Thank you. We cannot just give you the paperwork now, and did you take care of it? No? Councilmember Cordero?
I just want, hi everyone, Rating Cordero. I just wanted to follow up on the outreach from the church. I forgot which church it was, to do a parade also in Salt Lake. And I was wondering if it's going to be in concert or an additional parade through Salt Lake for this year. And I know that the Department of Transportation Services already started working with them to issue them their street use permit for the parade. And I think some of us got that email to be a part of it as well.
What church is that?
I will have to look at it, but I think we were all invited to have a meeting to talk about the parade that they were planning. But I'll look on my email right now, and I'll come back with information when I report. Is that okay?
Yeah, I would like to attend that meeting if possible.
Okay, yeah, I actually replied all to and said that I'm interested in having the meeting, but I didn't get a word back from the member of the church. Do you remember that email? Yeah, and I think our, I don't know, oh, was it the band director for the church? Okay, so. Oh, okay. Well, let me check first, and then I'll come back when it's my time to report, and I'll share that, if that's
Is
okay.
there a meeting in the church, at the church?
Well, I'm not sure. I'll have to look at it. I responded, but got no response.
Because the last time I walked in a church, a fan fell.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Chair.
Anyway, I have you a couple reports that you can take from here regarding the parade and the whole Olea. Okay, moving on our agenda, Mr. Moore.
This is more of a statement to be filmed for the people of Salt Lake. If you guys have any complaints about neighbors, like if you live right by Ho'aloha Park and people are in the park making a lot of noise at night and stuff and keeping you awake or disturbing you, call the police and put in a complaint, because if you don't call the police, and same thing with Salt Lake Boulevard and Likini Street and wherever else in our entire district, please call the police and let them know, because if only one person calls and that's it, they're going to think that it's just a false alarm, one or two people. If the whole community gets involved with this, things will get done. And that's why we're kind of trying to stress, it's our community, and if something's disturbing you, like, there's noise, there's people outside that are really disrupting the neighborhood, stuff like that, everyone should take responsibility and do something. You don't have to go out there and stop it, because that's not what we're asking, but at least call the authorities where they can document that, and then we have it's like proof that there's something going on. So when we, the board, talk to the police or we talk to our representatives, government representatives, it's something that is worthwhile. Otherwise, if a lot of times, if no one says anything and if people don't show up to the meetings and stuff, like we had an instance where a couple people were complaining about some issues, so we made it a big thing at one meeting, and they never came back. So that just got flushed down. So everybody, please, do our civic duty, as they say. Thank you.
Just a quick announcement. We have a cleanup this Saturday at 1 o'clock at the Salt Lake Waterway. I'll have Secretary Kanemaru give you the ins and outs.
Thank you. Yes, it's going to be held at both Likini Street Park, the Likini Street Mini Park, that's on 5375 Likini Street, and also at the Country Club Village, which is a condominium that is on the embankments of the Salt Lake Waterway itself. We ask that everyone parks in the Likini Street parking and then we'll be walking you folks over to the Country Club Village where we'll be making the Genki balls. Yeah, so we intend to make 1,000 Genki balls again, and this will be on the 27th of July. We'll be tossing them, so we invite everyone again. We'll be sending out another flyer, event flyer for that tossing event. It's great fun. Yeah, it's kind of like a childhood thing. You play with mud. But yeah, we intend to do the cleanup first, and then also coinciding with the Genki ball making. So please come and join us all. Yeah, from 1 o'clock.
Okay, this Saturday, 1 o'clock, July 13th. 2 weeks later, July 27th, will be the actual toss into the waterway of those Genki balls at 1 o'clock the same time. And again, like was mentioned earlier, Salt Lake, actually Likini Street Mini Park. That would be the meeting site right off of Likini Street before Ala Napunani Street. Audience, do you have any events and concerns to bring up to this board? Board members, do you have any other events and concerns that you want to cover? Okay, let's move on to Mayor Rick Blangiardi's office.
All right. Good evening. My name is Brian Gallagher. I'm Mayor Rick's rep. So a little announcement. I've moved departments. I used to be in the Department of Design and Construction. I am now the Deputy Director in the Department of Planning and Permitting. So questions that were related to Salt Lake Boulevard construction and some of those answers, we'll still take them, but the answers might take a little longer to get. But we'll get them for you. But yeah, I just want to start with community concerns, questions, anything you guys have.
Board, any questions for the city, the mayor's office? Ms. Hine?
Sorry, I'm going to bring up a Maui question again and see if Honolulu is doing anything closely related. Because of the situation that happened in Maui, permitting, right, became a very big, a big thing, a big issue, a big solve that they had to kind of figure out. And they've moved at a light speed, and I don't know how well the counties are connected in those discussions on how to kind of improve it, improve the processing. I know that Honolulu has done some digitizing or utilizing more online resources in order for the permitting processes to be handled better.
Correct.
One, is there communications going on between the counties to help improve, Honolulu's situation? And if not, are there any more recent updates to our permitting over here? You can tell I'm thinking about renovations pretty soon. That's why for my house, and I know all of us with really old houses in Aliamanu, especially in Foster Village and stuff like that, are, constantly, and that's a big cost, is that time period.
Yeah, understood. That's a fair question. I know there's been some initial discussions. I think that things move a lot faster on Maui because it's emergency case. And so it depends on how you look at it. Each situation is different. But that is a good suggestion to follow up through that process and see how it's worked for them, what they've learned, where we can improve, what can Oahu do. That's definitely something we have to keep track of and have meetings with Maui about. We are trying to implement some various software programs to help us with our plan reviews and permitting and things like that. Some of it's initial. We've tried some other things, and it didn't. We tried hiring some consultants to help us with some reviews, and there are positives and there's negatives to it. The real issue, I think, is the volume of permit requests we get, and then it's also an issue of the quality of the submittal. Some are very good, and some are not. So some it's an education on the public, and it's just it's a lengthy review process to go through because some people think it may be something simple, but they don't know that they're triggering a whole domino effect of rules and regulations and where they cross jurisdictions and things like that. But we are definitely trying to improve. So it's a work in progress. So yeah, we're trying. Omura.
Mr. Moore?
Yeah, I don't know if this is you guys or the state. Are you guys the ones that, okay, the Waikiki board passed the resolution to put up the first one in Hawaii, the cameras at the intersection with the sound pickup, to pick up the sounds as well. And it's an experiment that they're doing. I'm not sure if this is with you guys or the state. I meant to ask on that.
Yeah, I'll have to follow up. I heard about that, but I can't remember.
If you can check up
This
on
is
that.
in Waikiki?
Waikiki. Their
Thinking-
neighborhood board.
I'm thinking this is
Because it's
city.
something I've brought up
Yeah, 'cause
before
in-
with our board.
And
as
numerous
well.
noise complaints.
Yeah, with the cars and the
Yeah.
traffic. So what they're doing is they're putting up not just the motion camera, but the very first, it's some kind of thing that'll pick up the sounds as well. So while they're filming that car dragging across, ripping across the street, it'll pick up the noise and the sounds that they're
Okay.
making as well.
Yeah, if it's
Because-
going to come down to enforcement, there's two sides to that. One is HPD, but like say normally if we have to do a construction project and we want to do night work, we go through the Department of Health, which is state,
Yeah.
to get a noise permit.
Yeah.
And
Be-
depending on location where it is, they have various ways of monitoring and checking it. So we might be working together, but I'll
Yeah,
definitely-
because they're doing that I guess because the police, see, the complaint in Waikiki was that, from the neighborhood board there, was that the police, and this is what they tell us as well, and they probably tell everybody in the state this. By the time they get there, the perpetrators are long gone.
Right.
It takes them, and because the police are short-staffed, it takes them 10 to 20 minutes, probably 20 minutes to get there. And like I said, by the time they get there, they're gone. That's why the Waikiki board got up in arms and said, hey, you know what? We need to find a solution to this, and that's why they passed that resolution. And from what I read in a paper, they're the very first that area. They're going to experiment on that. So if you guys are in charge of that, can you keep an update on us and let us know? That's the main point of that.
That
But
sounds
if
good.
it's the state, then I would ask the state to do the same thing. I'm
Yeah.
not sure who's doing that.
If this is involved in any way, we'll definitely let you know. We'll go check on that. Sure, yeah.
Audience, any questions for the mayor's office?
Okay. Oh, so just following up some previous questions that came in from the board, I guess at our last meeting. I think we had some lengthy discussions about crosswalks. And so if you actually would like more information, there's you can contact the city's Department of Transportation Services. They have an individual there, his Aaron Redoble. His email is eredoble@honolulu.gov. You can also call 768-8334. I know following up with that conversation, there was questions about potentially malfunctioning crosswalks. So the Department of Transportation Services went out, they investigated, they couldn't find a situation where there was a malfunction. We did try coordinating with HPD because it sounded like there were tickets issued. HPD is asking that they go through the courts to process that and let that work through and have they'll work with DTS and the judge on. So if there is something, whoever got it, they may be able to justify, hey, something did happen during that time, and we'll just have to let it go through the courts. But Omura.
Anybody else before Mr. Omura? Go ahead, Mr. Omura.
Someone brought up, I guess, one of our community members brought up the point about Catlin Park. Was it Catlin or was it us guys? Catlin Road and Nimitz Highway, there's a light there. And I often catch the bus and I get off there, I walk across the street, and then I walk up to Salt Lake to go home at night. And what I've been finding is that walk sign, when the light turns green, it takes forever to turn green. And when it does turn green, as soon as it turns green, within 2 or 3 seconds, there's like a 20-second thing, and that road is huge. And I'm walking fast. By the time I get from one end to the other, it's zero. My thought is, what about people that are older, that are walking slower? If they can't, and they don't know about the thing, because that light, you only see the count 20, 19, 18, and then around 10, it disappears, and all you see is blinking red. So you don't know how much time you have if you're crossing from the Makai side of Nimitz going on to the Malka side, the mountain side, right? As you're crossing there, once you get to the median and you're walking the last part, you don't see the numbers, and so and it's fast. And that light
Does it
moves fast.
transition to the hand?
Yeah, it transitions to the
orange.
hand. It would be
Yeah.
good if the numbers stayed up there, you know, the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So people can see that so they can judge their walk.
Okay.
Because if that thing, if it's just a blinking hand, then all of a sudden you're in the middle of the street or you start walking across the street and it comes to a complete red stop and you don't see it, especially at night, you know, it can be a dangerous situation. So my thing was, can you extend that light, number one, longer than that 20 seconds? And number two, that number system on both sides of that red thing blinking, that goes all the way from the beginning count to the end count to 0.
That location was Catlin?
Between Catlin Park, that road that turns into Arizona Street, you know,
Okay.
on Nimitz, that Nimitz Road right there. It's across from the hotel. Camp Catlin, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, based on the questions received at the last meeting, so HPD and DTS just wanted, it's in line exactly with what you're saying. We'll take that back to DTS and see if they can make some changes or adjustments to be a little more community friendly and showing them, or maybe extend, you know, the amount of time people have to cross. But yeah, so they just wanted to let you know, it's like once you see the walking man come up, or whoever it is, walking person, we'll say, you can go. As long as you're crossing in the crosswalk, as soon as it turns and starts counting down, or the hand is flashing, you can cross. But if you're still standing on the corner on the sidewalk, and as soon as it turns to any countdown or orange, technically you're supposed to stop and wait and not cross. So,
It's a long,
yeah.
it's a big road to cross. And because the counts are fast, it creates a situation that could be a little bit dangerous.
that's fair. Yeah, we'll take that back. We'll take a look at it.
The audience, board, any more questions for the mayor's office? Go ahead, Mr. Omura.
No, that's okay. Sandra again. Couple things. I timed it. I timed that crosswalk today, and it has the man showing for 8 seconds before it turns to the blinking red hand, and it's about, oh, I don't remember. I don't remember, but yeah, it is short. And then for someone like my mother, she wouldn't be able to cross. She'd have to wait. She'd have to go to the median and then wait and then finish crossing. The other thing I wanted to ask about is I recently heard about something called Vision Zero. And that seems very in line with what we're talking about. So if you could share some information about that. Or, I don't know, it seems like it's an initiative for reducing traffic accidents. And it's by the state, it's at the state level. I mean, not the state level, the city level. So I was just wondering if anyone in the council or you know, is involved.
Yeah, we can definitely bring information on that and provide it to the community.
Sandra, before you, can you explain to us what direction your mother was crossing on Nimitz, towards Soul Lake or towards Plaza Hotel? Okay, thanks.
That's good. No, thank you. Appreciate that. And then, yeah, one last piece. I think at the last meeting we had, there was an ask for brochures for pedestrian safety. And so HPD actually wanted to provide a contact if there were questions with, who was it? Officer Jonathan Ng. And so he can be contacted at jng@honolulu.gov. Apparently he has pedestrian safety brochures that are ready. Oh, did they drop them off?
Yeah, they made the delivery and
Oh, they did them
she
already?
picked it up.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. That's perfect then. And then I believe Councilmember Cordero is going to have some more information on this situation of the brochures and everything. So that's all I have.
I think it's. And along with those pamphlets, neighborhood board, we're going to pick a date sometime in beginning of August to pass out these brochures to the people that's crossing on that crosswalk and persons that or is at the shopping center and at McDonald's in that area, and to educate them as far as crossing the street and also going through the parking lot and passing out the flyers to the drivers that are at the shopping center. So I'll let you know on the dates, neighborhood board, so if you want to participate and join us in the volunteer project, I'll let you know. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Ayn?
So I just, you can, I'm not going to ask you a question. I just looked up that Vision Zero with the county. Does look like it's a county initiative. And the only reason why I'm bringing it up now is that when I looked online, there's a draft report out right now that they're looking for public comment. So if anybody wants to comment on it, it looks really good. There's videos of the meetings that were had. The report is out. The goal is for 0 traffic fatalities to occur. So yeah, take a look at it. Any of you guys are interested or, have had incidences like that, comment on it. And then, yeah, by next month, we will get a bunch of feedback. I don't know it doesn't say what the end date of the public comment period is. That's the only thing. Oh, was June 27th? June? Oh, so it was power already. Oh, it was short end of the kind. Oh, okay. Because it looked like it started June 12th. So it was just like 2 weeks or something. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Councilmember Cordero?
Good evening, neighbors and neighborhood board members. Radiant Cordero, your council member and neighbor in Salt Lake. And I just wanted to share that along with being emailed my report, you also have my report in front of you. It is a pretty lengthy one, so do take some time. I do want to note that I was on the Vision Zero Planning Committee for a while because of the concerns that all of you as board members have brought up. And at the time, I was also the Oahu MPO Policy Board Chair. So I do want to share that at the city level, your voices in Salt Lake are represented in the plan, as well as I represented the city council, or I guess the city and county of Honolulu, on the National Transportation Infrastructure Committee. So I worked with mayors and councilors and commissioners across the nation. It would literally be 4 a.m. when I would be having these meetings with them and then having to go to committees virtually in Congress, so to talk about transportation and infrastructure. So just want to let you all know that, that's my role, and I have participated in the Vision Zero planning, and especially with Salt Lake in mind. And although the comments was completed on June 26th, you do have my contact at rcordero, Charlie O-R Delta E-R-O @ honolulu.gov, and you can provide me that information, and we'll be able to see how we can work on that together, okay? With that, I do also want to, since we're still talking about transit and roads and streets, thanks to Deputy Director Gallagher for bringing up the pamphlets. I do have 1,000 pamphlets from the Department of Transportation Services. Before I gave it out to you all, or brought the whole bag, and also, by the way, the bag broke, so I don't know who's going to take it home, but just FYI, if you folks can, if the board members could just review this, or maybe the board chair would review this Walkwise Hawaii pamphlet. We know there's a lot of different street safety pamphlets that we have, and I wanted to see if this will suffice in addition to Honolulu Police Departments, and if this is okay to give out. And if not, then I'll be taking home 1,000 pamphlets with me back home. So, okay. And so, in addition to the to follow up with the parade discussion that we had earlier, it was Landon Mauricio from he is from Wanadua High School. Excuse my error with mentioning that it was a church, and I know that he was connected to us and to as well as to the vice chair, who was able to connect the chair. So I while I was waiting in the back, I emailed him a follow-up to see if we can have a meeting in July or August. So I do want to note that, and we can follow up as well. And it's great that you have your route planned already, and so hopefully we can discuss that, see if it's a fit, or move forward from there as well. And okay, moving forward, you all know that I've been talking about the city budget. We concluded that, and we were able to pass out the budget. And you can see majority of my report is dedicated to that. And once again, I talked about some funding that we're going to be putting in bulks in the operating budget. And because we've seen the use of a bulk fund for certain departments easily used when we did that with the American Rescue Plan Act. So I took that same concept and divvied it up between certain districts, depending on what the department is, so that the council members and the community will be able to have a direct say in working with the department and to see where it goes. For example, we have our Department of Parks and Recreation. They are doing a lot of their own in-house projects, and with the American Rescue Plan Act, we've been able to take the dedicated funds for our district, and a lot of it went to certain parts of our area here in Salt Lake and Aliamanu. And so with that, I put in $300,000 per council district for parks. So moving forward, I would look forward to the discussions with my neighbors from Waimalukai to Kapalamakai to talk about what we can see the money used for. Next, I've also included $400,000 for 8 HPD patrol districts, and we saw that was used very well by our officers, by our HPD officers, and especially our community policing team. They used it for training, they used it for outreach. HPD D5, I know they're not here, they used it for a lot of youth outreach. And I got to be a part of it, and it was so amazing. And the chair of the council actually got really jealous, so he said he wants to join me with the youth sometimes. So that's something that's huge. Another huge thing is thanks to you all for passing out your resolution to rename the Keeney Street Mini Park after Howard Shima, our former chair. And so that officially passed yesterday at the full council. So thanks to not only the board support, but our community support. Thank you, Representative Ichiyama, for your great comments about Chair Shima and his daughters provided so much more insight than I had, when I saw him face to face a few years ago, and then as well as being on the phone with him. So it's great, and since that's passed, or even before it passed, my office already are trying to find out how quick they can fabricate the signs. And yes, it was like my staff, Linda, and Vice Chair Kanemaru are in the same wavelength because they both asked DPR at the same time, the same day. So yes, we'll let everyone know. We can't wait to have a huge event for that, and we'll let everyone know. So with that, there's responses to community concerns on my next page. And the last thing, because I've been talking so much, I just want to invite everyone. We're going through the primary urban center development plan. If you were here around 2016, 17, 18, you know that our community had a few meetings with all the pop-ups, boards, and all those discussions. Yeah, I know. I remember that too. I was like, don't take your pictures of me like putting the post-it notes. So the plan is now before the council, and we get to have a say. And already looking at the supplemental documents, there's some areas that has Moanalua, and I want to thank the Community Association of Moanalua Gardens who pointed it out. It says Moanalua, but it shows Kalihi. So right now the council has the opportunity to make amendments, and we'll be having something that we really wanted to push was having our committee meetings in our district. So I jumped at the bit, asked to go first. I was like, I want to go July 30th, and we're having it at Moanalua High School. We were trying to get at the library, but also we're working it out with them because it's the first day of school back for teachers. So possibly at the Performing Arts Center. So if you want to bring all your neighbors, there's room for that. So join us. It's okay, Tuesday, July 30th, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And so we'll confirm with you all. I'm sure you all get my emails, and if you don't, email me, rcordero@honolulu.gov to get onto it. With that, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know.
Council member, before we get to questions, I'll take that flyers from you for the pedestrians.
Yay.
And if you don't have it tonight, then I'll
It's
call
here.
me and I'll pick it up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And we'll do that event at the shopping center and pass those with these brochures
Okay.
at the same time. Also, I just want to thank you and your office for pushing the renaming of the Likini Street Mini Park for Mr. Howard Shima. Well deserving. He worked hard for this community for many years, so thank you for pushing that through. With that said, Mr. Baird, you had a question.
I waited until the end here because I wanted Brian to hear this also.
Okay.
Dina, who works in your office, her and I worked in the last couple of years on the sinkholes that were developing on Bougainville Drive by the Keiki School. I now see about 100 yards down the road, there's another sinkhole, but now there's a sign that says dip ahead. So someone's watching it. But I haven't heard of any progress as far as when are we going to fill in those holes and repave, and I know the pedestrian bump was just put there. So has anybody heard anything as far as this goes, or?
For the dip, I do have to follow up. I think it might be, I will have to follow up with DOT, actually. So I will have to follow with DOT.
Okay,
Thank
let
you.
me know.
I would love to work at the state, but I work at the city. But I will still follow with DOT and our state representative
Okay, thank you.
and state senator. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Yes.
Audience,
sir.
any questions
sorry.
for the council member? Oh, Mr. O'Moore.
Mr. Chair, I forgot where my sorry. Okay, there are several things I wanted to mention, but first, I want to thank you for your newsletter because I was happily impressed that right in the back of that first page, you put down all of our concerns that I had mentioned earlier to the police and stuff, and it's great to see that they're there, that it just shows everyone that if you read her newsletter, it shows that she is concerned about our district. So, I think she's really doing a great job on that. So thank you, Radiant. Great job. And I just want to make sure, if you haven't read her newsletter, pick it up. I think it's at the door. And you can look at it. It literally tells our community what's up this time around. Okay, now the things I wanted to bring up, I don't know if this is you or Brian. Okay, but there are 3 issues that
We're a team.
I wanted to be explained from the city side. The first one is City and County of Honolulu, and you guys ended the lawsuit over the ACLU thing, over public welfare laws. That's basically booting the homeless out of public lands kind of things, How is that going to affect our district? Number 2, what's happening? I didn't know about this towing contract thing that you guys have that you guys broke off. It was for immediate release because of poor service or whatever, excessive charges. And the third thing is you guys did a survey on Oahu flood risks. And I was wondering, where does Salt Lake fit in there, if anything, if there is any kind of concern that we should be concerned about? Thank you.
The flood one, do you know?
No, it's okay. Sorry, what was the first one again? Oh yeah, the ACLU, the sidewalk. So yeah, it's I think being able to maybe kick homeless off the sidewalks is kind of a rough way of looking at it. What we've really been looking for is legal justification so that we can help these people get off the sidewalks and into better treatment facilities. Because somewhere, you get the range, right? Because what the city was able to do, especially during COVID and using a lot of federal funding, was get people in transitional housing. So it's like people who just need a little bit of help to get off the street. And, you know, they're perfectly lucid. They just needed that little help, get in, get a job, and then they can move on. We were able to get through a few thousand of those. I think almost, probably a little over 1,000, maybe 1,500. Because they estimate there's about 4,000 homeless, maybe a little more on Oahu. The other end of that spectrum is the ones that you're going to have a real hard time dealing with and talking to. So we needed this help and to try and help those people get into a better treatment plan because it's taking up space on sidewalks or they're just in a bad position. So the city's been able to work through getting additional treatment and other care facilities to help those people as well. So we knew it's a systemic problem, but Mayor Blangiardi is absolutely adamant about trying to fix this homeless issue, and he needed the legal help to do that because the ACLU was fighting. It's like, hey, they should have a right to be wherever they want to be on those sidewalks, and we disagreed. So getting the Supreme Court ruling on that is going to hopefully help those people get to a better place. So we needed to set up the infrastructure and the systems in the first place on that front end, and now we're trying to get out to the community to facilitate that.
It makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Sorry, part two was towing.
The
Yeah,
towing.
The Department of Customer Services. They had I'm not totally sure of everything that happened in that case. I know they had a contractor that may have been illegally charging some people, so they investigated and they cut the contract on that tow company they use for. It's like it's for various city facilities, parking lots, abandoned vehicles, things like that. But I can get more information on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And the flood risks.
Still more, no more questions?
So it was for Salt Lake. Do you have so I know we were working with FEMA on the Mapunapuna and Kalihikai areas, and it's just it's an overall kind of it's sea level rise, it's heavy rain events. What can we do? I mean, it's just a study right now going on, and we know Mapunapuna has those ongoing issues, but the city has been coordinating with federal and state departments to try and look at long-term solutions. I know the city, DDC, Department of Design and Construction, along with Department of Facilities Maintenance, was able to go through an area where they actually found blocked storm drains. And they're questioning, it might be illegal dumping, it could have been something inadvertent, but they were able to actually clear out the storm drain. I'll get the street name again. But there is actually helping out areas in Mapunapuna. But I mean, long-term, for these heavy rain events, some areas just don't have the infrastructure needed to facilitate those large, heavy rain events. But I can get you, if you want to email me, I can get you all kinds of information on that. It gets real detailed and, all right, cool.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. In addition to the towing contract news, the transportation chair will be holding an informational briefing in the transportation committee. That should be, I don't know, I think the 20th, I don't know what the Tuesday is 2 weeks from now, 23rd, 25th, 4th, at 1 o'clock. Or, yeah, I don't know what time it is. But yes. Oh wait, hold on. I have my calendar. Transportation, the 23rd at 2:30 p.m. So you can watch it on Olelo, watch it on YouTube, or go to honolulucitycouncil.org, watch that. Plenty ways. So if you want to find out more information, or if you want to email me questions that you would want me to ask during the discussion, let me know. I will ask it. But not too wild questions, Board Member Mora, please. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Governor Green's office, anybody?
Okay, aloha mai kako, aloha chair and board members. My name is Diamond Badajos, and I am the Information and Community Relations Officer at the Department of Hawaiian Homelands here as the governor's rep. This is my first meeting, so I don't have much to share, but I'm happy to take back any outstanding questions. I can certainly look into that noise picking up camera for the Waikiki district and the dip in the road. But anything else, yeah, I can certainly take that back and happy to facilitate any conversations. And I certainly will send out an email introducing myself a little further to all of you guys. So thank you for having me tonight.
Board, any questions for the governor's office? Audience, any questions for the governor's office? To the microphone, please. Mr. Yee, go up, grab one of these mics or come up to the microphone, please.
I'm Dennis Hagee, a resident in the neighborhood, and I understand in Waikiki, the device has a camera and a microphone, so they can record the sound. Okay. In Cairo, Egypt, there's 22 million people, and I was there for 2 weeks, and I noticed, I was very surprised that all of their motorcycles are quiet. So there's some other way they're encouraging people that drive motorcycles to keep them quiet, and I'll find that out, and I'll report back to the board. So maybe it's something they do in their governing that might work here as well. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Any other questions, audience? Mr. Baird, do you have a question? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Wakai's office. Representative Ichiyama.
Good evening, everyone. Linda Ichiyama, State House. Thank you very much, Chair, board members. I'm passing out a copy of my community update. On the front is a little information about our state's unclaimed property program. It is a service that we offer when folks, for example, don't collect the contents of a security deposit box, or they have an insurance policy that ends and there's still that little bit left in that policy. That goes from those private businesses to the state. And then citizens are able to go onto the state unclaimed property website, put in their name and address, and find out if there is any potential funds or security deposit contents that might be theirs. So please use that resource. And then on the back is information about some financial literacy programs that are being hosted at our Salt Lake Library. Happy to answer any questions.
Audience, any questions for the representative? Board, any questions? Thank you.
Oh,
Mr.
Mr. Baird? It's the Saturdays that are listed on the dates. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Ichiyama. Representative Ayu.
Good evening, board and board members. Congratulations to all of you for serving again. Just a really quick report this evening. As you know, the governor vetoed a few bills that the legislature passed this year. I thought it would be appropriate to override some of those bills, especially the one on biosecurity. But unfortunately, the legislature decided not to do that this week. So I think there's a list about 7 on the governor's list. And if you recently got any of my mailers related to the little fire ant or pharaoh chickens or the coconut rhinoceros beetle, please kind of disregard some of the information on there because given the governor's veto, I don't know if the funding is going to some of those initiatives. So I'm going through the budget right now and trying to figure out where some of that money is going, and I will provide an update shortly after that. But if there's not anything else, I'm here to answer any questions.
Audience, any questions? Representative Ayu. Board, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving to the federal level, anybody from Senator Schatz's office? Anybody from Congressman Ed Case's office? Okay, moving along, we have 2 presentations tonight. The first one is DLNR, Department of Land and Natural Resources, regarding Moana Loa Educational Garden. Anybody here for that? The next presentation is Department of Transportation, the bus service charges changes.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jay Igusa. I'm with the Department of Transportation Services. I'm here to share some updates on some upcoming bus service changes. It will start on August 18th. I have flyers here. If you want to take a look, there's a stack over here on the table. You can take a look at that. So most of the changes actually doesn't really affect this neighborhood. But there is a segment of Route 9 that is affected. So Route 9 is actually going to be discontinued. Route 9 services between Kaimuki and Pearl Harbor. So Route 9 is going to be discontinued. Route 7, which right now serves only in Kalihi Valley, that is going to be restructured and kind of replace Route 9. But the segment between Kalihi and Pearl Harbor, that's not going to be covered by the new Route 7. So the map for the new Route 7 is shown on this rider alert. So it's just going to travel between Kalihi Valley, and it's going to go to Kahala Mall. So I just wanted to call attention to Nimitz Highway. So there's going to be alternate service on there. There's still going to be a lot of service with routes 40, 42, 51, and 303. And if anybody is going to the Radford Drive, NEX area, Route 1L is still going to continue serving that area. And then for Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Hickam, the PH8, which starts at Aloha Stadium Station, and it circles through Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Hickam. That runs in the AM and PM peaks. That will continue as well. And then Route 303, that travels to Hickam, Airport and Hickam, starting at the Kalihi Transit Center. So if you want more information on all the other route changes, all the other service changes, that's all happening more on the east side. So like Waikiki, Kahala, Aina Haina side. That can be found on the bus website. That's www.thebus.org. If you have questions for me, maybe you can ask them now, or I have my phone number here, 808-768-8372, and then my branch's shared email address, which is thebusstop@honolulu.gov. Does anybody have questions?
Audience,
now?
any questions regarding bus service changes on the routes? Board, any questions? Thank you. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for your time.
Moving on to Aloha Stadium. Who did you get a fight with? Or you punched somebody?
Aloha Chair Yomes, members of the board, and members of the community. Congratulations on your re-election and newly elected officers. I'm Chris Kinimaka from the State Department of Accounting and General Services, and I'm joined by Chris Sadayasu, the Deputy Manager for the Aloha Stadium. So I'm going to kick off our report tonight with the update on the new Aloha Stadium Entertainment District. If you recall, back in March, we did announce 2 priority-listed offers vying for the selection to do the overall district and stadium development. And in May, we had a very good community outreach that you participated in, and both teams were very appreciative of the very constructive information that you gave them. Now, sadly, while you were on break in June, we did get notice from Waiola Development Partners that they made the heartbreaking decision to pull out. They assured us in their notice to us that it was not a random decision. It's something they really had to search down deep on. If you recall, they've been involved in our process over the years, and they're very committed to wanting to do their best for the people of Hawaii and this community. They did not feel that they could put their 100% forward, and that was where they notified us of their decision to withdraw. We're very happy that the remaining priority listed offer, Aloha Halava District Partners, is still gung-ho. very committed to moving forward and bringing the best to Hawaii. We've been meeting with them throughout this process. We met with them today, and they're still saying, we're in, all in. So we're working very closely with them. We wanted to assure everyone that although, that does reduce the level of competition from 2 down to 1, that we're not changing the procurement process. The process was established at the very beginning for this very possibility. When we advertised even the request for qualifications, we really had no idea how many teams would come in. We could have had 1 team from the very beginning. As it was, we whittled down to the 2, and now we're going to continue the process. We're going to ensure and work even harder to make sure that the proposal that comes in meets muster. The qualifications, the evaluation criteria does not change, and they know that our focus is even higher to make sure that we bring value to the state, to this community and the people of Hawaii to give the best project possible. We also are looking at the fact that we are going to be on track for our procurement. So we are looking at still announcing the priority listed offer in September. How am I saying that with only 1 team? It's because it's not guaranteed. If they don't meet muster, there is a possibility that they would not be the selected offer. And yes, that would kill the procurement. But that is why we're working very closely with them, as we did with you, to make sure we address as many issues as possible. We're working with many stakeholders to get to that finish line successfully. But, that's not out of the picture. Again, they have to meet muster. But we are looking at notifying everyone of the preferred offer if they're selected by September of this year, which then enters that team into the diligence and discussion phase for 9 months. We hope to negotiate that contract by June of next year, still meeting our 2028 date for University of Hawaii football. And other than that, for the outreach for NASID, we also work with the Stadium Authority to issue our newsletter in June. On June 26th, we did delay a few days to make sure we could get the FAQs and information out on this latest procurement action. And with that, I'm going to allow Chris to give you the latest on the stadium events, and we'll open up to questions.
Thanks, Chris. So Chris Sadayasu, Deputy Manager at the Stadium Authority. And just basically, the 50th State Fair just concluded this past weekend, Sunday, July 7th. All reports of this very successful event. Had a very popular slingshot ride. They had monster truck rallies and crushing of cars and entertainment and circus events. Tomorrow night, the 12th, the KCCN FM 100 Birthday Bash concert is at the stadium parking lot, 4:30 to 10, presented by TMR Events. And then T-Pain is coming on Saturday night at the stadium parking lot as well, 4:30 to 10. Sunday, July 28th, from 10 to 4, our Swap Meets 45th anniversary celebration. And we have 4 different, we're going to do 4 activations over 4 months. The 80s extravaganza is scheduled for this July. We'll have a jazzercise demonstration, a roller skating rink, retail and food tents, and specialty cocktails at our beer garden. And information is posted on our stadium website, www.alohastadium.hawaii.gov. So we'll take questions regarding the NASID project or anything going on at Aloha Stadium.
I had one. With the one group dropping out, I know you said you're on schedule, but is there any other paperwork that has to be done, or is there going to be a delay?
As far as the group
The one
dropping
group
out,
dropping out with the remaining group left? Is there anything else that got to be submitted, or are you guys on track where there will be no delays?
we remain on track. We have done our due diligence on the withdrawal request. There are steps we have to go through to make sure we accept their withdrawal with any technical issues. That was resolved very quickly in less than 2 weeks. The remaining team just continues as was already underway.
You have a target date when this construction is going to start?
The construction would still be awarded by June of next year, and then it's up to them to start moving quickly. We still look at the demolition probably happening at the end of next year.
And when that starts, all this events that you have in the stadium, the entire parking lot will shut down, correct?
No, actually, they would work the state would work with the developer to schedule events because there's still a lot that can be done. If you recall, they're going to start with the stadium first and probably the first phase of development closest to the rail station, but that still leaves at least half of the site open for ongoing activities. And I guess Chris can give you an update on how the swap meet is also moving so that that never stops.
Yeah, and so to that point, we will continue the swap meet. That's a very good revenue generator for the state of Hawaii, and move it to the upper Halawa lot. And so that's something we're looking to do in 2025. The swap meet, we're working with the developer, but we're looking at sometime 2025 to do that. Yeah.
Any questions? Okay, Patty? Patty, you have any questions? Okay. You have any questions? So quiet back there. Audience, you have any questions for Aloha Stadium? Thank you.
Mahalo.
Moving on to anybody from the schools here? Military? Let's start with the Army because it starts with A and N is Navy. So Army, you're up.
Good evening, Chair Yomes, board members, neighbors. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Donnie Pratt. I'm the Deputy Brigade Commander for the 516th Theater Signal Brigade. I'm the Army representative to this neighborhood board. Tonight, I have a couple of announcements. I'll keep it brief, and then I'll open it up to any questions that you guys might have of me. So the first is the monthly job fair that U.S. Army Garrison Hawaii has will be on July 16th at Radford High School, starting at 8:30, and it runs until 2 p.m. It's open to the public. Advanced applicants can get information at www.himwr.com. Okay, second, in accordance with the National Environmental Policy Act and the Hawaii Environmental Policy Act, the Army has published the Oahu Draft Environmental Impact Statement, or EIS, for the Army Training Land Retention and State Lands at Kahuku Training Area, Poamohu Training Area, and Makua Military Reservation. This opened on June 7th, and it runs for 60 days. And it's there for the public to review and provide input. This runs until August 7th, and you can find that information at https://home.army.mil/Hawaii/Oahu EIS. For any concerns, there's a new community concerns line that the U.S. Army Garrison Hawaii has stood up that you can reach at 808-787-1582 or usag.hawaii.comrel.army.mil. That's all I have for this evening, pending any questions that you all might have of me.
Board, any questions for the Army? All? Ms. Hines?
Just regarding the last bit of information that the Army has just shared regarding the EIS, the public hearings are happening right now. There's one happening tonight out in Lelehua. Now, the public meetings themselves are occurring in spaces where the bases that are of concern for the leases are happening. But I think we just all need a little reminder of how much impact military presence can have with reflecting on Red Hill, right? Like something like we're not near a base necessarily. It's for Fort Shafter is nearby, but that wasn't and Pearl Harbor Hickam, excuse me. But even though those are not of concern within the Army's EIS right now, I would encourage all of you as residents of the island of Oahu in the state of Hawaii to take a look. I mean, it's a very daunting, it's like 800, I forget how much pages it is. It's a very daunting document. But there's recommendations in it too, and there's some language in there that's more accessible for us. So as a community, we may not think that this impacts us, but the presence of military on lands in Hawaii, again, just remember Red Hill, but has a lasting impact on a place that we all call home, and that can navigate across boundaries, right? Even though they're focusing on Schofield and Makua Valley and Kahuku right now, the policies, the precedents, the kinds of actions that happen in those spaces can impact us. So I plead with you to go look at those recommendations and put forth your comments. And it could be very personal about you and your family, and about the impacts, the long-term impacts that you may be concerned with about the activities happening there. That's all. Thank you very much, Chair, and mahalo.
Audience, any questions, sir? You come up to the microphone. They can't hear you online.
I just wanted to know where the job.
Mr. Iggy, you gotta use the microphone. They can't hear you online.
I just wanted to know where the job fair is going to be located, though. Radford High School, okay.
On the 16th.
Any other questions for the Army audience? Thank you, sir. We'll see you on Saturday. Thank you. We'll keep you out of the water this time. Navy?
Aloha. Victor Flint, Naval Facilities. Hey, Lar. Nice to see you back, buddy. I have the updates for Naval Facilities, and I'm filling in for Chuck today because Chuck is feeling ill. So, I'm just going to, you have the written report, Dave? Did you get that? Okay. So I'm just going to go right into the Pearl Harbor updates and NAFAC updates. The Restoration Advisory Board started June 26th at Aliamanu Elementary School. It was a full house with no ku'e, so I look favorable behind that. I know some people had some issues. Please write them down so the committee can review them and make things better than next time. But to me, it was a good start. July 4th, huge success. Thousands in attendance, car shows, ship tours, live bands, food court. Good fun for all. I'm glad things went well without a hitch. Homeless encampments, we found some more on Valkenburg and Bougainville avenues. They were removed, but before any action happened, help was offered, but denied. Navy's still hiring a variety of positions from emergency responders, trades, admin, and engineers are available. Go online either to the face page or LinkedIn. Check it out. This is happening in the community here, so it's kind of neat. This is the enhanced use lease that's coming up. Navy submitted public notice of availability of a draft environmental statement. There's 2 land leases for clean renewable energy projects on Pearl. Proposed action is to lease Navy land to a commercial developer to construct and operate renewable energy infrastructure on 2 separate Navy sites. One of them is down on the base. The other one is right over here off Salt Lake by the compound. So that's good. These sites will be connected into the existing HECO electric infrastructure, and the public can view all this on the website. I have it posted on the thing that I sent to you. Or come see me in the back if you're interested. And RIMPAC 2024, that's pretty big. It's going on now, June 27th to August 2nd. 25,000 personnel, 29 nations, 40 ships, 150 aircraft, and 4 submarines are involved. So for more information about this, you can just Google RIMPAC 2024, and I have a website that I submitted on the report to the board. That's all I have. Are there any questions?
Audience, any questions for the Navy?
Joe.
Board, any questions? Mr. O'More?
Yeah, I I'm not sure if this issue has been resolved or not, but I'm a Radford High School graduate. We got our 50th reunion coming up towards the end of the month, and we have some of these guys, my classmates, coming back from the mainland, first time ever in like 50 years since. And so one of the things one of them mentioned to me was, hey, what's this thing I heard, these rumors and stuff that, Radford High School, Makalapa, there, they had that, that thing that, when you guys, that chemical thing under the football field.
Yeah, the old Navy landfill.
Yeah, the old Navy landfill and stuff. So I just needed clarification so I can tell them that, it's set, but that's settled, right? You guys cleaned that out, or what's up with that?
Yeah, that's all finished, and yeah, it was a Navy landfill, and we got all kinds of stuff out of there. Nobody is backpedaling. This is all part of the restoration plan, and we submitted funding to get it repaired and dug up and fixed and tested. We were overseen by Department of Health and EPA, and we not only got that stuff all out, we rebuilt the football field, brand new track to include the new bleachers, and we even built a roadway around the back of the place for the school and the state. And I haven't heard anything negative yet, unless you got something.
No, I haven't. I just wanted clarification so I
Roger.
can answer those guys.
Right on,
Thanks.
Brother Joe.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No Chuck tonight? Chuck,
Chuck,
vacation?
he's not feeling good.
Okay, thanks for coming out. Ms. Hine.
Okay, wait. So clarify two questions. One, clarify what you had just said. You guys took out everything that was in that military dump site from underneath Radford and Makalapa? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's the cameras? Okay. And then second, still reiterate what I've said at the last few meetings, the disappointment with the Navy not continuing on with the CRI meetings for Red Hill. After a brief absence of the EPA and the Department of Health, they have both returned to the CRI meetings. I watched the meetings for this past month in June, and they're both back there. The only missing part of that is the Navy, right? So if you can reiterate back up the chain, that is just very bad community engagement at the time where the Navy should be just, building relationships. They continue to have one-sided engagements, if you could even say engagements. They will have public spaces where they'll do like poster, board presentations, but no actual real engagement. They don't care what anybody has to say to them. They just want to get messaging out. And that's very disappointing. In 2024, right, I think we've learned a bit more about community engagement. So if you can run that up the flagpole for that. Thank you.
Okay. Nicole, I'll write that down, and yeah, it'll go up the chain. I think if you contact them directly through EPA and put your comment, it carries more weight because now it's down on Pala Pala, and that's just my mana'o. But yeah, it'll be on my report.
No, mahalo for that. So I'm engaging in my professional capacity with the military, but I want them to know too that through this chain, because they send you and Chuck, right? So they send you and Chuck to these meetings, and then they check it off as consultation, as part of their consultation. I see it on their boards. The Red Hill guys say that they attend neighborhood board meetings, right? And I challenge them on that. So I want them to know that they're not only going to hear from community through professional channels and through our legislative representatives, but they're also going to hear from their own staff that they're sending out into the community that this is something that's not, very not kosher, right? This is not good PR, not good engagement in this day and age. Mahalo.
Got it. I'll have it down.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Board of Water Supply?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jimmy Llanos, and I'll be representing Board of Water Supply tonight. I just wanted to start with question that we had last time about what Board of Water Supply's plan is regarding homeland security and terrorism at Board of Water sites. And I would like to report that the Board of Water Supply has emergency response plans for multiple scenarios. However, those plans cannot be shared due to the sensitive nature of the responses. But please know that the Board of Water Supply has a very robust cybersecurity program, and all employees are required to take an annual training course to be recertified in order to have access to their email and programs. I actually had to do that this past week. We also have a team at Board of Water Supply that looks for cybersecurity threats and then ensures our system is safe against these kinds of threats. While we will not share infrastructure information, our facilities are monitored 24/7 and checked by staff regularly. We take all threats seriously and monitor what is happening on the mainland and elsewhere in the world to stay aware of and on top of these issues. And with that, I'll get to my main break report. There was only one main break in the month of June in this area. That was on June 6th, and that was a 12-inch diameter pipe at 4391 Halupa Street, and the install year for that pipe was the year 2000. Finally, I'll move on to my general water announcements. I'm going to be talking about the 2024 annual Unthirsty plant sale. Everyone is invited to the 2024 annual Unthirsty plant sale at Halava Xeriscape Garden at 99-1268 Iwaena Street on Saturday, August 3rd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The 3-acre garden, a lush oasis nestled in Halava Valley's Central Park industrial area, is a live display of drought-tolerant and native plant varieties. Admission is free. You can park on Iwaena Street and catch a free shuttle to the garden. The plant sale is a family-friendly event that will offer the following: a variety of xeric plants by local vendors, a team of plant doctors from UH Master Gardener program with plant care advice and information, educational booths including rain barrel and catchment information, free soil conditioner, and Cactus and Succulent Society of Hawaii will display award-winning cacti and succulents. For more event information, visit www.boardofwatersupply.com. That concludes the end of my report, so I'm happy to take any questions.
Audience, any questions for the Board of Water Supply? Mrs. Kalimaro?
Thank you for being here, Jimmy. You know, I had talked to Ernie Lau, and this is regarding that 30-year water master plan. Where are we at on that? You folks are taking it in increments, right? Or like 10-mile pipe replacement increments? Would we know, ahead of time, or is it going to be when it just has a main break? Are they doing section by section for replacement, right? Isn't that what's going to be happening? Because there's 21,000, right?
Yeah.
Miles worth, or 2,100 miles
it was
worth
2,100.
of pipe.
I'm not sure at the top of my head what the status of the updated water master plan is, but I do know we are working on it, and like you're saying, one of the goals of at least the previous master plan was to replace, I think it was 10% of the pipe each year, or maybe 1% of the pipe each year. Or I forget what the time interval was too, but I can definitely follow up on the specifics
Because I think
of the master
Red
plan.
Hill, the Red Hill situation has affected the whole plan as well.
Yes,
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah, that's correct. But yeah, I'll follow up on that.
Any other questions for the Board of Water Supply? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening.
And moving on, did I miss anybody in the audience for presentations tonight? Yeah. Okay, moving on to board action, we had a 3 absence letter sent to Mr. Baird. Along the 3 absences, in this particular, last year, we gave we had a pass for board member Young Chong and our vice chair at that time, James Gower. And I would like to extend the pass again for Mr. Baird. He had some issues that he needed to take care of. Any objections to that on this board? Okay, moving on. And the next thing on the agenda was 5 absence letter by Board Member Ayong Chong, but she has since tendered her resignation of this board. So I'm declaring the seat vacant. So anybody wishes to be on this board, please contact Mr. Magawai at the Neighborhood Commission office so he can vet you. And board, do you have anything else that we need to add? Getting towards the end of everything. Okay, let's move on. Approval of minutes. Let's approve the May 9th regular meeting minutes. Any changes to the minutes? Hearing none, submitted as done. Okay, the next Liamano Salt Lake Fossil Village Airport Neighborhood Board will be on August 8th, same time, 6:30, same venue here. Mr. Omura, I see you on my right eye. What is your hand up for now? Go ahead.
Can I ask a question to our Olelo person here? It says here, and I've always been confused, and so have a lot of people, and I think I'm answering them wrong. So on the 4th Saturday of each month, that's this meeting tonight, right, will be on the 4th Saturday. And then the 2nd and 4th Fridays will be a repeat of this meeting. That's the assumption, right? And then the next month will be that 4th Saturday will be the new meeting. Okay, thank you. Answered.
He was wondering if he can put him on TV 2 more times if possible. Anyway, moving on. Will be, oh, that's something old. Okay, he covered that when the video recordings are for the meetings. Other than that, hearing nothing else, I think we're done. The time. Oh, okay, go ahead, Doreen.
I was reading the Civil Beat recently, and they were talking about the shortage of vice principals in our state. So I wanted to bring up the idea that vice principals are part of the group of DOE people who have to be certified in order to work for the state. So what I'm bringing tonight is the information to apply to be a substitute teacher. There's a classes that begin on July 29th in order to take a position with the Department of Education. And in case you didn't know, this was news to me and I was pretty impressed. But teachers right now make from $62,000 to $87,000. So it's a very good career path. And there's such a shortage of vice principals in the state that you could, take the classes. Right now, they're just allowing substitute teachers who are not certified to fill those positions. But if you want to get the big bucks, you need the certification. So I'm just bringing it up for anybody who's interested in entering the education field. Now's a good time. Thank you.
Mrs. Connie Mall.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, since I am on the board community team assignment of health services and environmental, I have been voluntold to attend these stormwater and wastewater advisory group meetings. What's happening is that the city, we are still in the process of determining this, but they're looking to eventually to offset, because the environmental services is an independent, like the Board of Water Supply is also an independent. They do not get funding from the general expenses, or the general income that comes in. So therefore, these 2 entities here, like I said, are independent. However, the Stormwater and Wastewater Advisory Group, what we're looking at right now is how we can determine some kind of revenue requirement. And so this will be coming down the line, maybe in 2025, but I just wanted to report that I did attend those meetings, and I am part of the infrastructure incentive grant part that we're trying to determine right now as to how this will be, the plan will be implemented, how much, the price structure and all of that too. But it's very interesting to find out that the stormwater is not being properly controlled, as well as the wastewater. So it's quite a big issue, but we're working on that right now as part of the advisory board.
Patty, you have anything? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to our meeting tonight. The time is 8:20. This meeting is adjourned.